Hi friends, welcome back to Yoga with Marcy. In today's class, we'll be working once again with fire. This is the third class in our series of 4. And today in particular, the theme is personal power. A way to invoke the feeling, this felt sense of personal power in our own bodies is by practicing inner spiral, invoking water, followed by outer spiral, fire. This creates steam. It engages mula, banda, which is engaging a drawing up of the pelvic floor, and that draws us right into the seat of our own personal power. So I'm glad you're here, and I hope you enjoy today's practice. Since we're all here to do some yoga, well, let's get started. All right, let's do some. I was really looking forward to you all showing up so that we could all co-regulate together during these times, which we kind of need each other's nervous systems a little bit right now. I need to remember that we're part of a larger, I need to remember, maybe we all do, that we're part of a larger connected humanity that's sane. Just put that word in there. So yeah, go ahead and take your comfy seat if you're not already there. If it feels good to lower your eyelids, beginning to bring awareness inward. Interoception. Interoception, that inward perception. Come in, come in. Hi, Karen. You just join us. We started, but you can just come on in. And letting yourself notice the breaths that are happening in you. Sustaining breaths. And if it feels good, you can bring your hands together in front of the heart. Noticing the one hand touching the other and vice versa. Maybe awareness in the finger pads. Letting the rib cage expand on the inhalation. And we'll join our voices for the sound of one Om. Invite you to exhale fully. Inhale big. Wonderful. Releasing the hands, opening the eyes. Maybe bringing hands to the top of your thighs and just letting your hands feel that for a second. Yeah, go ahead and get yourself settled in. A couple of blocks. Do you mind grabbing a couple blocks for Karen, John? Thank you. Yeah, take whatever you need there. Good. I want to invite you to bring awareness into your pelvis. We'll just do a gentle rocking of the pelvis in a seated position. So bringing a gentle curve into the back and then rounding it out. and a forward and a back. And the theme for today is power, personal power, being in your own personal power. We've been working with the fourth universal principle of alignment, outer spiral. An outer spiral practiced alone is simply fire. So we need to bring in the other three universal principles of alignment, beginning with the breath and opening to grace, followed by a muscular energy, so find your center line. And then we draw inward to our inner infinite universe with inner expanding spirals. So when you draw the top of the sacrum forward, it widens the sits bones. You're in the element of water. Then we bring in the fire, which is rooting tailbone down. Sits bones draw towards one another. And what happens when you do that is something called mula banda. The muladhara, which is first chakra area, gets activated, and it draws the pelvic floor up into the body. It's very toning. And if you can't sense that, don't worry about it. But that is what happens when we practice this. So I invite you to bring awareness to the front of the abdomen, just below the navel, and draw that towards the back. And then at the very same spot at the back of the sacrum, draw it towards the front. And notice what happens with the pelvic floor. Great. Now we're going to release all of that, and we're going to release the pelvic floor completely with a sweet exercise that you may have done with me before. So I invite you to take your left palm flat and take it right under the left sits bone. I'm mirroring you. Yeah. Good. And let that sits bone relax into your hand. And then with your mind's eye, you can make tiny circles in one direction with that sits bone in the hand. Tiny, tiny, tiny. 4 times in one direction and 4 times in the other direction. Good. And then we're going to make a 5-pointed star starting on lower left, going up and down to the right, over to the left, over to the right, and back down again. And so, Karen, we have our hand underneath that sits bone. If you want to, right? Do you know what the sits bone is? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Stick it under there. And then we're going to do a star starting at the lower right, going up and down, towards the right, towards the left, and down. And then the final thing to do is to write your name in cursive with your sits bone. Yeah. And maybe choose the longer form of your name. And then let that go with the hand coming out, and notice how the two sides feel. So very often, if we begin to work mula bandha and we haven't experienced a pelvic floor release, we're just creating more tension there for ourselves. So can you feel how the two sides feel different now? Yeah. It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? Let's take now your right palm flat underneath the right sits bone. Let that sits bone settle into the hand, and then circle in one direction 4 times. And then the other. And then we'll draw a star starting lower left, up, down to the right, left, and then start at the lower left, draw it up, down, to the right, to the left, and down. And then draw your name in cursive, the best you can. Choose the long form. So choose Jeffrey, Jonathan, Karen. I don't know how to make that longer. And then let it go and feel. And now you've invited your pelvic floor to actually release. And sometimes we don't even realize how much tension we're carrying there. That first chakra, the muladhara chakra, is a place where we are registering safety in our environment. It's also a place of tribe. It's a place where money and those kinds of things live in our bodies. So letting yourself have that. Now, I want to invite you to take your blocks to the side, and you may need to get off if you're sitting way up on something, or if you're in a big nest, you may need to come forward off of all of that. And take your hands onto your blocks. Legs in a cross-legged position, Sukhasana, easy pose. Hands on blocks. And don't do anything down here. Just let this area relax. press into the blocks until you start to feel a lengthening in the spine and weight coming out of the pelvis, and maybe even the pelvis lifts up and off the floor. And then release that down. Okay, now we're going to do it a second time, and I invite you to do what we did before, which is bring that awareness to the point below the navel in the front body, draw it towards the back, and awareness in the back body in the same point on the sacrum and draw it towards the front. Feel how the pelvic floor lifts up. You're now in the seat of your power. Press into the blocks and lift up and see how that feels different. You feel a little more engaged in yourself? Yeah, it's a totally different kind of an experience. All right, I just wanted you to feel that so you know there's actually something going on. You can get back up on your stuff. And because Jeff's neck is really sore, and probably yours is too, let's bring hands onto the skin of the right side of the neck. Use your hand on the skin to draw that. You got to get right under your shirt there, Jeff, for this to work for you. Draw the skin down, and then draw the neck away. Oh my goodness. You can make some sounds if this just feels really good. Yep. And micro move in the neck. Inhale to release that side. We'll take the other side. So hand right on the skin, drawing the skin away from the neck, and then the neck away from the hand. Working with the fascia here. Oh, micro moving the head. Yeah. Finding spots. Maybe one side feels tighter than the other. Good. And then exhale and let that go. Nice. Take your left fingers to the ground, root through both sits bones, and give yourself any side stretch that feels good. So reaching forward and back, or whatever feels good. You find it. And then inhale it out. Take the other side, so right fingertips to the ground, rooted in both sits bones. Inhalation, find your way in. Make it feel good to you. And exhale it down. Good. Maybe a little rounding of the back and drawing the heart forward with the breath. Nice. Let's come into a balasana, so a child's pose. So find your way in. Bringing your third eye to the ground. Noticing the movement of your breath, hearing the sound of your own beautiful breath. Bringing awareness back into the pelvis and finding some length at the back of the sacrum on the exhalation. And then just notice what happens inside of you when I say the words personal power. And take another full breath. And allowing in your mind's eye to see yourself in your personal power, which is not a power over, it's simply being in what is yours. So come on up to hands and knees. Make your fingers wide, hands a little wider than shoulder width. And bring in a little cat and cow. And if this doesn't work for your body to be on your knees, you can come to standing and bring your hands to your knees. Or you can get on your back and do some pelvic tilting, which we're going to head to in a minute anyway. So following the breath, letting this feel good. Moving any way that really works for you right now. For me, I'm getting the cue to circle my hips, for example. So listening in is part of your personal power. Oh, good. All right, cross the ankles. We're going to sit back. Bring hands under knees, which we've been doing in all of our fire classes. So we're going to get a little heat going in the belly. Yeah, hands under knees, elbows wide. Let the heart lift. Good. And then gently rocking back, activate the toes of both feet, lift the left foot. Notice what in the belly turns on, fires up. Then find the length in the spine through the crown, little curve in the back of the neck. Keep breathing. And then exhale that down. Inhale the right foot up, wide toes. Heart is lifting long in the spine, letting the core fire up here. And exhale it down. Inhale right foot up and the left foot up. You can stay right here and or let the hands go. Should be able to, carry on a conversation here with no change in the quality and the timbre of your voice. Good. Another breath. You feeling it? A little bit? All right, exhale it down. Woo, good, my friends. And let's take it all the way through and get onto our bellies. For a little cobra. And bringing forehead to the floor, feeling the front side of the body in contact with the floor, with your mat. Nice. Find your breath. Arms, hands at the side of the rib cage. Pause and breathe. Start with opening ourselves to grace, opening to something greater than yourself. And then find midline of the body. Feel a gentle muscular draw towards midline with the legs. Nice. And we're going to take those two actions again to get into the mula banda. So below the navel drawing back towards the sacrum and behind the sacrum drawing forward, feeling the draw of the pelvic floor up. Everything is engaged, pressing into the floor. Inhale the heart forward and up. And exhale it down. I'm going to do 5 of these. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. 2 more. Inhale it up. Exhale it down. 1 more. Inhale it up. And exhale it down. Open the right arm out to the side on fingertips. Nice. And begin to roll yourself onto your right hip. Bend the left knee. The left foot comes behind you any amount. It doesn't need to touch the floor, but it might. So we're opening the front of the right shoulder. Woo! Breathe here. Maybe there's a lot of sensation. If it's too much, back it off. And you'll notice the 2 sides will feel different. Inhale, roll back to center. Take the left fingertips out to the left. Begin to draw yourself up onto your left hip. Put a bend in the right knee. Let that foot come around behind you, any amount. Jeff, look at your brother. Yeah, there it is. And then inhale your way out. Woo. And come to center. Bring hands to the side with palms facing down. Rock out the spine any way you need to. Come back into your breath and then gently draw in towards midline. On the inhalation, lift your right leg towards sky and exhale it down.
And on the inhalation, lift the left leg towards sky. And exhale it down. Good. Now inhale, lift right leg, lift hands, lift heart. Kalabhasana. Exhale it down. Inhale, lift left leg, lift hands, lift heart. Exhale it down. Rock out the spine. And then we're going to do a full one. This is very strengthening to the lower back. So on the inhalation, lift both legs. They don't have to lift high. And then inhale the head up. And inhale the hands up. And you don't have to go far here to get the benefit, to get the effect. You can even imagine doing it and get the effect. Micro move here. Keep breathing. If you stop breathing, chances are you're over-efforting. So back it off. And exhale it out. Our culture teaches us to always go right to the max. And then inhale, take yourself back to pose of a child if that feels good. So we use our interoception to begin to notice that habit, because we can't really be in our personal power if we're living unconsciously in a patterned existence. Good. And from here, we're going to find our way onto our backs. So we'll do a few things on our backs. Bend the knees, feet on the ground. Feel free to draw knees in towards the heart. And rock around on the sacrum if that feels good. Yeah, I mean, it's a great query. What does it feel like? What does it mean, and what does it feel like in my body when I'm in my personal power? Exhale, feet to the floor. Take your hands wide. Widen the feet, activate the toes. Take knees towards the left. Breathe here into the deep psoas muscle of the belly. And inhale it up. Nice active feet. Take the knees towards the right. And inhale it up. Great. Let's take the hands right up to the sky. Well, hello, Ekis. Welcome to yoga class. Hello, my friend. Take hands up to the sky and then melt the shoulder blades into the earth. Periscope the hands with wide fingers and begin to take those hands up and over the head. And explore your own range of motion here. And once you get hands overhead, see if you can melt the back body again into the earth. Let's see if you can, on the inhalation, let the rib cage widen. Good, and then exhale, take the hands up and down. Come into rocking the pelvis. Rock, 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 just like we did when we were seated. So inhaling, making a curve, exhaling, pressing the top of the sacrum into the floor. You can do that as many times as you like, following the breath. And if it feels good to you and you want to take it a little deeper with arms next to your side, bend the elbows, jazz hands looking across the body, across at each other. Press into the feet, and this time you can bring it right up into a gentle bridge pose. On the inhalation, and then come up to the top of your bridge. If you're doing bridge, feel the gentle draw to midline with the legs. Melt the insides of the thighs to widen sits bones, and then root the tailbone towards the heels. There's your fire, and you've got the mula banda going. So it's an invitation to activate a feeling of empowerment in your body. And exhale it out. And take a moment there to just let that go. And on your next inhale, let's take your right foot towards the sky. Feel free to reach around with the hands to the back of the thigh. Activate toes and move the foot. Explore until you can feel the fascial lines at the back of the leg responding with gratitude that you are inviting them to open and release and stretch. That's the feeling of gratitude, Jeff, in the back of your thigh. What would you call it?
Eventual gratitude.
Eventual, like we'll get there. Got to go through some stuff first. Okay, on the next inhale, put a bend in that knee. Take that ankle in front of the left knee for a figure 4 pose. You work here where it makes sense for you to work. So come into the breath and then activate toes. And if there's a deeper figure 4, let the left foot come off the ground and the knee come towards the heart. Gently moving right knee away from heart. Breathing. And then let's bring those actions in again. So a gentle curve in the lower back, just enough. And then a rooting of tailbone down, feeling how the pelvic floor engages and draws us into our inner sense of power. Nice. On the exhalation, take that left foot to the floor, release the hands. Arms at the side like we did before if you were doing bridge pose with bent elbows. Press now into the left foot. Feel the left glute engage and lift the hips up off the floor. Right knee moves away. Exhale it down. Inhale, press it up. Exhale it down. Inhale, press it up. Exhale, let it down. Nice. Take the arms wide. That right foot now comes towards the floor on the left for a twist. Take your time. Move mindfully. Use that interoception to notice what's happening. Notice the cues of yes and the cues of no in your own body. It's part of your personal power. And the cues of, it's not a yes yet, but I'm moving towards a yes. I'm going to stay back here for another few breaths and then maybe go a little further. Okay. Inhale to come on out. Exhale that foot to the floor. And take a moment in midline, move any way you need to. And then on the next inhale, we'll take left foot towards sky. Feel free to reach through with the hands if that's what you'd like to do. And begin to move the foot in exploration of the gratitude, the movement towards gratitude of the opening of the fascia at the back of the thigh, as well as the muscles, of course. Take your time. Be curious. Be listening. Maybe be surprised at what you find. And then on the inhalation, put a bend in that knee. Take that ankle in front of the right knee and come into your figure 4 pose. Perhaps you're reaching through with the hands or using a TheraBand to lift the right foot off the ground, moving left knee away, keeping the toes active. And once you come to where you're practicing, where your gentle edge is, you can bring a little curve to the lower back and then root that tailbone down and notice the engagement of your pelvic floor, or notice not noticing the engagement. So whatever it is you're noticing is just fine. And soften the jaw and the skin of the face. And for this moment, just let yourself be here as you are, as an expression of your personal power. Yeah, okay. Well, let's exhale that right foot down. Take the arms to the side with the jazz hands and the bent elbows. And come into the breath. Feel your right foot Begin to press into the right foot until you feel the muscles at the back of the right thigh and the glute engage. And then take the hips up and off the floor any amount, or even just imagine doing it. Up with the inhalation, exhale it down. Up with the inhalation, exhale it down. One more. Inhale it up and exhale it down. On your next inhale, open your arms wide. We'll take that left foot over towards the right for a twist. Take your time. Be curious, active in the toes. Just go as far as feels right for your body in this moment. We lose our personal power when we force ourselves to do something when we're not ready. We abandon ourselves. So yeah, part of personal power is understanding what no feels like, as well as what yes feels like. And when you're ready, inhale to unwind. Take that down. Give yourself a little morning stretch. Oh, make a sound. Ah. Yeah, good. And from here, find your way up to standing, perhaps rolling to the side and coming up, perhaps rolling on your back. And bring your blocks to the top of your mat. Okay. Here we are. John, you're like an explosion of color. A Technicolor yawn. All right, coming up.
Hold it in.
What?
I'm trying to hold it in.
You are? Don't do that. Don't hold it in. All right. Yeah, that would be a lot of energy to hold in, wouldn't it? That'd be rough. All right, so coming up to your feet. Notice that you're on your feet, maybe a little rocking. Yeah. And if there are any other movements that your body would like right now as you find yourself in standing, give them to yourself. No right, no wrong here. It's your body. It's your practice. Just an invitation to move what wants to move in you. Yeah. Good. And then we'll all come back to center. Find our breath and either lift and spread toes or imagine lifting and spreading toes, using a chair if you need it for stability and balance, and then fanning those babies back down. Bringing awareness into the front of the pelvis like we've been doing in our practice. You might even bring a hand there. Yeah, this is our hara point. And let the hara point move towards the back of the sacrum. And then with the other hand at the back of the sacrum, let that move forward. You'll notice how both sits bones reach towards the floor as you do that, and the mula banda happens. This pelvic floor lifts up. Keeping that engaged, press through the feet. Inhale, hands high. Now, through center line, exhalation. Let's do 2 more of these sun breaths. Inhaling, hands high. Exhaling through center line. And one more time. Pressing through feet. Inhale, hands high. Bending knees, coming through center line for a forward fold. Your forward fold. Maybe using blocks to lift the floor towards you if you have tight hamstrings. Letting the head be lower than the pelvis. Inhale, heart forward, pressing through feet. And on the exhalation, as we fold inward, I invite you to make a sound. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale with a sound. One more time. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale with a sound. Bend the knees deeply. Feel the sits bones widen back. And then as you begin to bring the body up, let the sits bones draw towards one another. Hands come up and into a cactus in Utkatasana. Chair pose.
Feel alive in the toes and the fingers and up through the crown. And press into the floor, reach up. And exhale your hands to the heart. Nice. Take all your weight into your right foot. And find your weight there. Take weight out of your left foot. Find your stability. Let this be a balancing movement. And then in your time, left foot comes back to find a lunge. Back foot turns to a 45-degree angle. Good, everybody. And pause. Nice. Find your breath. Draw the head of the right femur bone back to square the hips. That's a muscular energy. Yeah. Now on the inhalation, put a little softness in the back knee and take both sits bones back and apart, widen them back and apart. That's our watery inward spiral, moving into our inner expanding universe. Here comes the fire, right? So we're going to draw now the tailbone down, especially the front sits bone tucks under and presses through the front foot. Good, we're containing. We're coming into our personal power when we do that in a whole new way. Pressing into the feet, lift hands to sky. With the lower body locked in, so stable, you can explore upper body. Maybe there's some movement you'd like in the shoulders, right? Yeah, maybe there's some twisting or movement, or there's a watery expression. Let yourself explore a little. Good, and then find your full expression, pressing through feet, reaching through fingers, lifting heart. And exhale, hands to the heart. Look down at your front foot, take the weight there. Move mindfully, taking weight out of the back foot. Take your time. Yep, good. And forward we go. Ooh, did you feel that in the glute? I did. All right, so shake it out. Move any way you need to. Good. Yeah, and taking breaks if you need them, etc. All right, this is gentle yoga, right? So if you need to sit down, take a break, that's okay. Let's look down. Lift, spread toes now of your right foot. Bring all the weight there, hands together in front of the heart. Pause. Taking weight out of your right foot, begin to find the way back. Use this as a balancing posture, movement, and back it goes. Yeah, back foot turns to a 45-degree angle. Let's soften the back knee. Front knee is above the front ankle. Good. And Karen, you can take that back foot towards the right just to widen your stance a little bit. There it is. Yeah, how's that feel? Okay? Good. All right, come into the breath. Nice. Draw the head of the femur of your left leg back into the socket to square hips. That's a muscular energy. We're creating stability. Nice. Now, either you're going to feel it or you're going to imagine feeling it, taking the sits bones back, so softening into water space and widen. And then here comes the fire. It's containing and strengthening. Front sits bone tucks under, comes all the way down and through the foot. Everything here now has found a tremendous amount of presence and stability. And from that presence and stability, pressing through feet, inhale, hands high. Good, and if it feels good and there's a little something that you need up here, letting the lower body be super stable, you can explore it. Maybe there's some kitty paws or other kind of an expression. Maybe you're throwing fireballs. If you have somebody in mind. Coming from your personal power. Good. And then exhale those hands back to the heart. Look down at your front foot. Bring weight there. Be with yourself. Stay with yourself. Take the weight out of the back foot. Bring it forward. Feel the glute burn. If you don't, go back. Try it again. No, just okay. And then come on out. Shake it out. Good. All right. So come into the feet. Inhale, hands high. Let's bring interlaced fingers and press, if that works for you in your body. Find length in the back body. Lengthen the sides of the body, pressing equally through both feet. Let the hands move towards one side for a little side stretch. Inhale into the rib cage, widen it. And inhale it up. Exhale, pressing equally into both feet. We'll take it to the other side. Inhale into the rib cage. And exhale it. Exhale it down. Move any way you need to. Good. Always waiting for someone to just like suddenly collapse onto the floor when I say move any way you need to. Sometimes I want to do that. Just see what happens in the room. Okay. All right. So let's do another lunge. And let's take weight into the right foot. And you can look down, bring hands together in front of the heart. And once again, with balance, take weight out of your left foot and begin to find its way back. Yeah. And once you do, when you tap down, let that back foot find its 45-degree angle with a softness in the knee. So we don't start by blocking energy. We're going to let energy flow by putting a little softness in the knee. Front knee is above the front ankle. Good. Now, drawing that head of the right femur back to square the hips. Beautiful. Find that sweet melting of the inner thighs back. Oof, there's your water. And then root the tailbone down. Tuck that front sits bone down and under. Mula banda. Engage your own power. Press through feet. Lift hands up. Reach for something. Take the left wrist in the right hand and gently find your way into a side stretch here. Nice. Good. Inhale it out. Exhale, hands to heart. Look down at your front foot and bring all your weight there. Engage the glute. Then take weight out of the back foot and bring it forward. Shaky, shaky, shaky. Inhale, hands up. Exhale through midline forward fold to the floor or the blocks. Make a sound. Inhale, heart forward. Deep bend in the knees. Coming into Utkatasana with cactus arms. Root the tailbone. Feel the pelvic floor lift. Keep that lifted as you press through the feet and touch the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. Look down and notice where your feet are. Straighten them up. And then lift and spread toes of your left foot. Bring the weight there. Take weight out of the right. Soften something in the lower back as you take that lifted leg back. Make contact. Here we are on the moon. Soften the knee. Good. And draw the head of the femur bone on the left side into the socket to square the hips. Make the hips square. Good. Inhale, melt thighs back. Exhale, strong rooting. Front sits bone curls under and down. Press into the feet. Lift hands high. Taking right wrist in the left hand, find your way into a gentle side stretch. There it is. Notice if you can feel that all the way down and into that deep psoas muscle that connects upper and lower bodies. Inhale your way up and out. Bring hands to heart, look down at the front foot, take weight there, weight out of the back foot and come on forward. Give yourself a little bounce, shake it out through fingers. Good. Nice. All right. Find your feet. Inhale, hands high. Exhale through center line, soft knees, all the way down, make a sound. Ah. Inhale, heart forward. Lift and spread toes, or imagine lifting and spreading toes and bring them down. Deep bend in the knees. Reach it up. Cactus arms. Utkatasana. Root the tailbone strongly. Feel the weight in the heels. Be alive in your eyelids and your fingertips. Press through feet. Lift up. And exhale, hands to heart. Good. So lift hands up. Exhale, cactus. And as you exhale, cactus, and draw the elbows down, shoulder blades come towards one another on the back. Heart lifts. Good. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, cactus. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, cactus. Letting that heart lift right on up. And exhale. Hands to heart. Reach around with the hands and interlace fingers. Okay. And notice if there's a tendency as you do this for the rib cage to want to come way forward, and just gently draw it back. All right? I'll do it to the side. Good. So I'm putting a little softness in my knees. And you can too, if you like. You can wiggle those toes. You can be sitting in a chair. All of this is good. Yep. Then gently find midline, draw legs in towards midline. Imagine those thighs melting back, and then rooting sits bone. I feel it each time, and maybe you're starting to feel it too. Pelvic floor lifts up. Good. Inhale, shoulders towards ears. Draw shoulder blades towards one another on the back. The elbows move towards one another. And you can pause right here, or if there's more, you could reach away with the hands any amount. Again, if the front of the rib cage starts to really come forward, just draw it towards the back body. My tongue wants to come out. And exhale to release that. Wiggle it out, shake it out through fingers. Yeah, or shoulders, nice. Good. Come to the front of your mats again. And here we go, another chance to work with balance. So look down at your feet. Notice what they do naturally, and then straighten them up. Good. Bringing weight into the right foot, lift and spread the toes. Start taking weight out of the left foot, hands together in front of the heart. And let yourself just find balance here first. Notice how the right glute engages. You feel it? If not, see if you can find it. And then start taking that leg back. And once it touches down, woo, we have a landing. Good. Put a softness in the back knee. Begin by softening. Now, draw that front head of the femur into the socket to square hips. Nice. And if it feels good, you could take your left hand to the front of the left thigh and just sort of melt it in, back, and widen the sits bones. And you can take the other hand to that front sits bone and just feel it, encourage it to tuck under, press down. Okay, everything's locked in just right with some subtle movements. Inhale, hands high. Exhale, cactus. Lift the heart. And from here, if it feels good, you could reach around with your hands to interlace fingers. Let the shoulders lift and shoulder blades move towards one another on the back. Heart lifts up. Lower the front of the rib cage down and back. Heart lifts up. Maybe reaching hands away. Inhale, release that. Bring hands back to heart. Ooh, look down at the front foot. Take weight there. Move slowly and mindfully. Engage the front glute to bring the back foot forward. Move any way you need to. Yeah. Good. Nice. Let's inhale the hands high. exhale with a fold and a sound. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, bend knees. Find a gentle draw to midline between the shins. Inhale, feel the thighs moving back. Exhale, root the tailbone down. Coming into personal power. That's fire. Inhale the hands into cactus. Utkatasana. Press through feet. Inhale, rise up. And exhale the hands to the heart. Just take a moment. Let's put palms on the heart. One palm on the heart, one palm on the belly. Give yourself a moment to feel and integrate in your practice before we do the other side. Notice if your heartbeat is a little higher, a little stronger. Give it a second to calm down. When we do this, we create something called vagal tone. Yoga is amazing for the vagus nerve, which is all the rage nowadays, thanks to Stephen Porges. I won't go too far into that. I'll just put it, a little pin in it. What are you talking about?
I'd like to go more into it.
Like to go more into it? Yeah, okay. I'm doing a deep dive in it right now in my study. So we'll take hands together in front of the heart. Look down at the left foot. Lift and spread the toes. Engage the glute. Take weight out of the right foot. And find your way back. Take your time. Nice. We've done this several times now, so the terrain is perhaps becoming more familiar. Soften the back knee, soften the outer skin. Good. Then draw that head of the femur of the front leg more deeply into the socket to square the hips. Good. Give yourself some water, right? Go inward. Take the inner thighs back and apart. And then root strongly through that front sits bone, down and under into the foot. Keeping all of that, press into the feet and inhale the hands high. Exhale, turn the palms forward into a cactus, lifting the heart high. And then on the exhalation, if it feels good, you can interlace the fingers behind you the weird way. You'll know what I mean. Drawing shoulders up, shoulder blades towards one another on the back, elbows towards one another. Maybe you're staying right here, or maybe those hands are taking you even more deeply into this heart opener as you press through the feet. Steady in the breath. Long in the sides of the neck. Feeling alive in the toes and in your crown. And when you're ready to come out, you exhale. Maybe shake that through the fingers. Good. Hands to heart. Look down at your front foot. Bring weight there. Engage the glute. Left leg meets right. And then take a moment to just move any way you need to. Change your shape any way that feels good. Doesn't have to look or make sense to anyone else. Look right or make sense. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Okay. One more time. Inhale, hands high. Exhale through center line, all the way down, make a sound. Inhale, heart forward. Put a bend in the knees. Good. Find a gentle midline hug of the shins. Inhale, feeling those sits bones wide behind you. Root into that by drawing sits bone closer together and towards the heels as your upper body comes up. Cactus arms. Mula banda is engaged, drawing the pelvic floor up and into the body, taking you into your place of personal power.
And from this place of personal power, we move into the world and take our next natural step. Inhale it up. Exhale, hands to heart. Okay. Last lunge. So one more. You okay with that? We do one more lunge? All right, good. Hands together in front of the heart. This is a heavy lunge day. We're going to use our blocks this time. Okay. So once again, find your breath. Let yourself have a couple of full breaths before we move. Good. Nice. Now look down. Lift and spread toes, or imagine lifting and spreading toes of your right foot. Take weight there. Put a little softness in that knee so that the glute muscle engages, taking weight out of the other foot. Move slowly and mindfully. Feel the glute engaged. Take the foot back. Yeah. Nice. Good. Now we're going to forward fold ourselves to bring hands down to the blocks. Turn the back foot so that it's parallel to the back of the mat and walk blocks to the inside of the front foot. Pause. Find the breath. And gently and isometrically draw your feet towards one another like you're trying to scrunch the mat. Pause. Inhale, widen the sits bones, or even imagine it. And then exhale, and that front sits bone tucks under and down again. Pressing into both feet, walk one block forward. Breathe, pressing into the feet, walk another block forward. And as you walk those blocks forward any amount, see if you can lengthen the spine by drawing the hips back. It should feel good. If it doesn't feel good, back it off. Part of your personal power is choosing when you do it, how much you do it, if you do it, what you do it. Good. Inhale, walk your blocks back. Turn the back foot onto the balls of the foot. Good. And with your left hand on the left block, drawing legs gently in towards midline. Keep a midline hug, get long through the heart, and then take that right hand to the right hip. Gently drawing the left rib cage towards the right, find your way into any amount of twist that feels right to you right now. If it feels good to open your hand to the sky, you can. Ilana, twist the other way. Yeah, twist in the direction of the front bent knee. So take that right hand to your right block and take your left hand onto your left hip, Ilana. There it is. For a twist. That's it, my friend. Very good. Inhale out. Look down at the front foot, step back foot forward. And since we're already here, take weight into your left foot, step back with your right foot. Turn that back foot to be parallel to the back of the mat. Take both blocks to the inside of your front foot and pause. Breathe. And then on your next inhalation, isometric draw of the feet towards one another on the mat like you're scrunching the mat. Inhale, take the thighs back, and exhale and root that front sits bone strongly. Pressing into the feet, walk one block forward. Pressing into the feet, walk the other block forward. And as you draw those blocks forward, you can draw the hips back, find length in the spine. Should feel good. Again, and if it doesn't, use your personal power to make an adjustment. And when you're ready, inhale, walk the blocks back, turn onto the balls of the back foot. You're going to be turning in the direction of the bent front knee. So whichever that one is, that's the hand that comes to the hip. On the next inhalation, draw legs in towards the midline and get long in the sides of the body and the heart. And then begin to turn yourself in the direction of that bent knee, any amount. And if it feels good, you can open that arm to sky, but you don't need to. You can experiment here.
Inhale to unwind. Take your time looking down, back foot meets front. And from here, we're actually going to come to a seated position because we're coming to the end of our yoga time. And you'll want to probably sit up on something to support the curves of your back. All right, let's bring legs right out in front of us for a little Dandasana staff pose. And take fingertips behind, find your breath. Feel your rooting. Is that okay? Yeah? Activate the toes. If you need something under those knees so they're not hyperextending, feel free to stick a blanket under. Oh, let yourself settle. We're living in these tough times together, each affected in our own way, but also affected in these collective ways, as insanity seems to be in power. And so how good it is to be able to just come back into the body in a mindful way, to access our own personal power in this moment, making decisions about what will feel good to us personally, keeping our own energy high as we can. And if there's a natural curve in the lower back, you can experiment with walking fingers forward. But if the lower back starts to need to curve in order to do this, just come back. Come back to where it can have that natural curve. So if you're flexy in your hamstrings like I am, there might be a forward fold for you here. You're actually already in a forward fold simply by sitting here upright. It's a deep forward fold as it is. And inhale your way up. Let's take one more. Let's do a little fiery thing. So take your left foot in towards the knee, the bent knee. And this is where you might practice, or you might take it above the knee. If that works for your body, activate the toes. Yep, you decide what feels right, especially if you've got a hippie thing going on. Deep practice is Agni-stambhasana with the calves stacked. And you'll understand the Agni in your right hip, most likely, or your left hip, actually. Yours is probably be feeling it in your left hip, your right hip, okay.
Feel it in both.
Feeling it in both. Feeling it in both. Use the hands to support you. Wherever you're practicing, keeping that gentle curve in the lower back, and then rooting down, noticing how the pelvic floor lifts. If it's in your practice, you can even take this into a forward fold. Come out if you need to, for sure. Take a break. Nice. Inhale your way up. Use your hands to straighten the lower leg and take the other leg out. Give yourself a little thunder. And then we'll do the other side. So your right foot comes in. Perhaps you're practicing within the inside of the leg. Maybe it's coming above the knee. Two sides may be very different. So if the last time you were able to do something like this, you may or may not to be able to on this side. You can just sort of check out what's real for you right now. And keeping fingers at the side. Feeling that gentle curve in the lower back, and then rooting tailbone and noticing pelvic floor lifts. Engaging with ourselves and our personal power. And then if it feels good, if it's available, you can even take this into a forward fold. So you're here,
or you're here, or you're here. And nothing is better than the other. And inhale your way up. Use your hands to come out whenever you're ready. You can stay a while if it's feeling really good. You found some good stuff. And from here, we're going to find our way onto our backs because it's that time in our practice. An hour goes so quickly. We're actually more than an hour, sorry. So come on onto your backs. Give yourself anything you need on your backs on your way to Shavasana. Great. Yeah, if it feels good, put a bolster under your knees, put an eye bag over your eyes. Anybody need a blanket? No? Great. Sometimes it's nice to put a blanket. A weighted blanket is really hip. That the nervous system loves a good weighted blanket. And once you're in your Shavasana, the only thing to do is to melt, letting yourself feel the effects of all the movement, the strengthening, the stretching, the exploration that you did in today's practice. Letting that settle in you and integrate. And I'll just read you a short little something of a much longer something. I pulled a little part out. This is written by somebody named Jacqueline, who copyrighted her name. If the seat of power makes you tremble, stand a little taller. Wear your honor like golden armor. Carve your path with thunder. Your own two hands build your life. So make the most of what you offer.